Okay, the Dance of the Fools. Let's see what happens here. Okay, well, we'll just get... I have an idea what we're doing now. So... I can still... It's weird that this hasn't been taken away from me yet. Doing long shade in the regular library. Usually that gets taken away from me by now. Here we go, look around. Expand both your theater skill and your architecture skill by 1, but more importantly, I'll learn about different locations and maybe they're more useful. Ooh, this does not look good. Reds and purples on the bottom there. It's been a dull day at the Academagia, so you decide to visit the Admirito. The market is busy as usual as people from all around the island go about their business. They haggle, they buy, each of them locked in their private personal world, not paying attention to most of what other people are doing. You're not looking for anything specific, but you stop by a fishmonger's to take a look at some of the strange creatures he's selling. Why would anyone want to eat that? Fish stink and are slimy to touch. And they're expensive. Are they? Don't forget expensive. What? Are fish expensive? Apparently that's what Rune thinks. You think to yourself as someone bumps into you. You ignore it as usual. It's not uncommon for people to bump into one another here. Hey, watch where you're going, says a menacing-looking man with a sword strapped to his back. A Vilician mercenary. You people from that magic school think you're above common decency, don't ya? Before you manage an answer, he adds, but I'm gonna change that. A duel here and now. Sword against one, and he draws his sword. This is kind of fucked up, dude. Just a kid. Vichelin, swallow your pride and apologize formally in the Merc's language. Take a quick look around for an improvised weapon. A dual A, quickly draw themes to your palette and disarm him with a spell. I'm gonna try to swallow my pride. I don't even know the language. Actually, let's see if I do know the language. Language. Nope, I only really know Lumion. Oh well. I'd rather do that than get in a stupid fight over something so freaking stupid. It wasn't your fault, but you're not one to argue with an armed man. You bring up everything you know about the Vilician, the language of these mercenaries. Lessons with Professor Cito have sure paid off. You recall a old but very formal way of showing regret. I, Rune Slugbed of Duran, apologize for my behavior. I know I have wronged thee, but alas, it wasn't my intention. Accept these sincere apologies, and let there be peace between our families. You recite with proper inflection. The mercenary is surprised by your speech and lets you off the hook. Who knew languages could be so useful in real life? A lot of fucking people? As I say, knowing only the English language and poorly. And we should always remember Nomia's boldness, her resolve. Duranda Thomas declare, looking to the night sky as the last group of students wander from the great gate. Who knew anyone could make commemorating the Dance of Fools so boring? Duran removes his gaze from the heavens and realizes his audience quite escape. All except for you. You're memorized. You didn't know Duran had the ability to be passionate about anything. Let's take a look at this guy. He's in our college where we know him. We know of him. Duran is a bit of a history buff. He spends his free time poring over the bastions of magic history that made their mark on the world. He doesn't really talk to many people and doesn't seem to have many close friends. Let's see. He drops his chin in disappointment. Oh, I was hoping someone would go into Minta and celebrate the Dance of Fools with me. You certainly intend to celebrate, but Duran would turn it into a history lecture. You're of the mind that history lectures should remain in, well, the history lecture. On the other hand, this is your first Dance of the Fools in Minta. It's sure to be an extravagant affair. Duran just might throw in an interesting tidbit here and there. I actually know this one because it's actually quite a long history. It's quite a long adventure for a what do you call it? For a vacation day. Under beguile, flattery, 0. Okay, well, I kind of wish I could have saved this because I would like to do this whole thing from beginning to end, but it's fine if we fail. We're gonna go with curiosity. Show Durand you're interested. You're not sure how much fun you can have with Durand, but you can always tune him out. Dejected, he bows his head and pulls out a book from his knapsack to stick his nose in. You call out to him, "Hey, Durand, let's go to Minta. I love to learn the history of Nomia and the Dance of Fools. I think you're the perfect person to explain to me." Durand looks up from his book and smiles. "Well then, by Nomia's spear, we'll have a fine time." What have you set yourself up for? You're having a fine time out in the street, watching a couple of puppet jesters befuddle a troop of bumbling trolls. The puppeteers are masterful, as us their voice work. As they use their voice work, let's say that. Duran, however, doesn't seem to be enjoying the show. You can't understand why. Everyone's dressed in their costumes, eating popcorn and caramel-coated apples, having a wonderful time. "This is a mockery to Nomia's memory, to everything she stood for," he says. "Seriously?" An old woman dressed as the Queen of Fays overhears him and leans over his shoulder. "Young man, I see you have great respect for Nomia. You know the origins of the Dance of the Fools, don't you?" Durand pipes up, and his eyes catches the flares of the torchlights. "Why, yes, she taught us courage and resolve against the dragons. A holiday in her honor is the greatest way to pay tribute." The Queen of Fays bows her head and chuckles. "That's what you've been taught. We always tried to hide our darker past." Durand's eyes widens. You feel yourself holding your breath. Darker past. Do you want to hear more? She looks away from Durand and turns to you. "And what does your friend think?" History. Tell what little you know about the holiday." "Oh, you say, I suppose I don't know much about the Dance of Fools. We celebrate it from where I'm from, of course, but it's nothing this extravagant or colorful. My mother says it's a way to connect us to our past and the strength and determination Nomia taught us in the face of great hardship and suffering." "That was beautiful," says Durand. "Indeed," says the Queen of Fays. "If you would like to know more, follow the procession heading down that alley. They're off to the Dance of Fools' true celebration." As you and Duran head for the alley, a shower of wrapped nuggets and taffies in a rainbow of colors comes raining down from Minta's rooftops. You desperately want to reach down and pick them up, but you don't want to lose the procession of hobgoblins, fairies, elves, trolls, ghosts, and ghouls. Their costumes are different than most, drab and feathery material, almost like skin, and mournful and dark instead of bright and cheerful. Duran shivers next to you. "Maybe we should go back." The alley's dark, there's no torches here, and the air is chilled. You've already given up a knapsack full of candy to come this far. You're not turning back. The crowd's a few feet ahead of you, and it suddenly disappears like they're disintegrating into the air. How are you going to find them? More importantly, how will you convince Duran to help you? Well, good thing we raised up persuasion. Talk to Duran into using secret magic. Okay. That's using some logic. Are we just supposed to assume Duran knows secret magic? Or a theory of glamour, look at the spot where everyone disappeared. We're going to use theory of glamour because why ask someone to do something when you can just do something yourself? Nobody can simply vanish like that. A powerful glamour spell must have been cast at the end of the alley. It looks like the alley opens into another dark street, but it's empty. I'm betting they used glamour, you tell Durand. That would be a good assumption, he says, shivering. Oh, dude, come on. You get out your wand and dispel the area in front of you. The glamour spell falls away in a shroud of smoke. A brick wall now stands in front of you, but to your left is another dark street. After you, you tell Durand. Our freaking college is called Courage and Hope. And Durand is just shivering? What the? Oh, I feel pretty good with all these green options, let me tell you. As you and Durand head for the alley, a shower of wrapped nuggets and taffies in rainbow color. What? Oh, so it just opened a different option for me. That's weird. It really... Like, wait, how did that end? You get to... trying to smoke a brick wall. Sorry. After you tell Durand. And... Okay. Well, we're going to use incantation spells, which I'm terrible at, but my good friend Evelyn is not, as she's going to light up the street with her spells. The true celebrators of the Dance of the Fools seem to be capable wizards. The worst thing you can do is bumble around a darkened street and get yourself seriously hurt. Evelyn casts Agnetha's lamp to light Durand's and your way. If I know it's not me doing the spell or doing the action, I'm gonna say who's actually doing it, by the way. The small orb of light floats ahead of you to reveal an empty courtyard of the likes you've never seen. Unlike the polished smooth stones that grace the archway of Minta, these are rough-cut boulders. You're amazed these archways lining the courtyard can even stand, as heavy as the rocks holding them together are. There's not even anything binding them. Where are you, and which of these doors under the archways will lead you to the true celebration? Two sharp taps startled Durand and you. You look around the courtyard trying to find the source of the noise. A hunched figure emerged from the shadows of an archway behind you. It's a sullen goblin carrying a cane. What an elaborate costume! The greenish-yellow skin of the mask looks like boogers, and the mouth and eyes are expressive. You're looking for the celebration, he asks. Yes, you say. Durand bows his head and takes a step behind you. You must find the tears a bittersweet reminder of our past triumphs and mistakes. They will lead you to the correct door. Tears leading to the correct door. There's certainly no one crying around here. Consider your safety. No, architecture. Look for changes in the scenery. Looking for subtle changes in the scenery, you tell Durand you don't know what the tears are or even what they look like, but they should change the texture of the stone around you. Cast their own shadows, maybe. Give some slight change to their surroundings. You and Durand circle the courtyard, scrutinizing every stone. They just look like rough cuts to you. You make your way behind the archway, and in front of the doors, it's hard to see in the shadows, but you think you found a pebble. You step on it to make sure it's not a trick of the light. It's a soft but solid. You reach down and pick it up. It's a caramel chew. Follow the caramel chews, you tell Durand. They wind around the shadows behind the archways. You and Durand pick them up and stuff them in your knapsack. They eventually lead you to an old door, rough and full of splinters. The old door opens in a banquet hall. You were expecting the celebration to be joyous, but the light is dull, heavy amber. The tiles are streaked with mud and dust, and there are no adornments on the wooden walls. The large room fills with sweeping sound, and hundreds of ghouls, goblins, and fairies hold hands and sway back and forth, shoulder to shoulder, then take a step in a mournful dance. Something weaves in and out between the dancers like a snake. Faces of the beasts peek over shoulders every now and then, and they smile as if they know they have nothing to smile about. It's difficult to breathe in the musty space. You and Duran look at each other, not sure what to think. The dancers are about to make another pass, and here comes the snake, a long, winding, sad creature. It looks like 5 people crawl on the floor underneath its withered skin. The head emerges from amongst the swaying beasts, a fang glints in the open mouth, and a blood-red pupil glares at you. Is that supposed to be a dragon? And which is the more important at this party? As the voice sneaks up behind you. You and Duran jump. You cover your mouths and keep from screaming out loud. The Queen of Fae is behind you, smiling. What? You say, trying to catch your breath. Which is more important, the dragon or the other honored guests?